The entire digital world is pretty much run by a handful of giant companies, and almost none of them are from Europe. So, in this explainer, we're asking a big question. Is it time to just break that mold? Can Europe build a totally different kind of tech giant? One that doesn't play by the old rules, but creates a whole new one? All right, let's get into it. First, we'll look at why Europe is kind of sitting on the sidelines right now. Then, we're going to bring it home and show you how that big problem is actually your problem. From there, we'll explore a pretty radical new idea, figure out how on earth it could get off the ground, and then tie it all together with a vision for a new, truly European web. So, first things first, Europe without a giant. Look, Europe's a huge economic player, but in the digital world, it's a continent of users, not owners. And that's a big deal. I mean, it's pretty glaring when you think about it. You list off the biggest, most powerful tech companies in the world, and Europe is just not on the list. For a continent that's so influential everywhere else, you have to ask, why? What happened? And it's not like they didn't try. For more than a decade, the EU has been pushing this big initiative called the Next Generation Internet. They threw everything at it, seminars, conferences, a ton of money. But here we are, and nothing. No major breakthrough. It seems that a top-down approach, run by committees and institutions, just couldn't spark the kind of real organic innovation that actually builds these giants. And this is where it gets really interesting. You see the contrast here, right? The old model, top-down, institutional, corporate. It just didn't work. So maybe the answer is to flip the whole thing on its head. What if we need a new way? Something that grows from the bottom up, something organic, democratic, and built around the user. Okay, so let's bring this down from the continental level to you, because this whole structure isn't just about economics. It directly affects your life online. It makes you a renter in a world of owners. Seriously, just stop and think about this. A lot of us have been online for, almost 30 years now? We've browsed, we've posted, we've connected. But after all that time, what do you actually own online? Where's your little piece of digital real estate? This really hits the nail on the head. In real life, we get the idea of ownership. We have our homes, our offices, our stuff. But online, we're just tenants. That social media profile, you're renting it. Your email address, it's temporary. You don't truly own your spot. It can be taken away in a second. So here's the bottom line. Your activity, your data, your creativity, all the time you spend online, it's creating incredible value. It all accumulates. But you're just seen as traffic, a number, a resource that makes these giant platforms rich, while none of that value you created ever flows back to you. And if you look at who actually makes money on the web, it's a pretty small club. You've got the tech giants at the top making a fortune. Then you've got a small group of super technical experts who know how to play the game. But the average person, the system just isn't built for you to get a piece of the pie. And that leads us to the core of this new idea, a total paradigm shift. We move from a system that just uses you to one that actually empowers you. How? By giving you two things you've never had online, a place to call your own and a way to work there. The foundational idea here is to give every single person their own digital port. Think of it like your own permanent address in the virtual world. It's a unique spot that you own, you control, and you can build on. It's your own plot of land on the internet that no one can take away from you. And from this port, something amazing can happen. You can start to build and accumulate value from the things that make you, you. Your skills, sure, but also your hobbies, your passions, your life story, your unique talents. All these things that have real value but no place in the current system can finally be recognized and rewarded. Okay, this all sounds pretty amazing, right? But here's the giant hurdle. How do you get millions, maybe even billions, of people who are already comfortable with the way things are to jump into something so completely different? Well, the answer has to be based on how we're actually wired as people. Let's be honest, we don't like things that feel like homework. We avoid stuff that's complicated and takes a lot of effort. So for any new system to really take off, it has to feel less like a mandatory course and more like fun. This means the barrier to entry has to be super, super low. It needs what you could call a soft entry, a way in that's simple, inviting, and maybe even a little playful, so that all the friction that normally stops us from trying new things just disappears. And you can do this in two really powerful ways. First, a trusted invitation. You get started because a friend or a coworker shows you the ropes. That human connection makes all the difference. And second, you learn through play. Instead of some complicated setup, you build your new digital home through fun, game-like experiences that give you a sense of progress right away.
So let's zoom back out for a second. Because this model, which starts with you, the individual, actually scales up into a huge vision. A vision for an internet that is fundamentally different, and maybe fundamentally European.
See, this isn't about creating just another app or another platform. This is about completely re-architecting the foundation of the web. It's a vision where the internet is literally divided up into unique, ownable plots for every user. A whole new digital world built on individual ownership. And this new system would stand on three big pillars. It would be a place of mutual value exchange where everyone benefits, not just the guys at the top. It would be built on democratic principles where you have a real say. And it would be designed for stability and trust, reflecting a society that cares about people, not just profits. Ultimately, this whole vision is about more than just tech. It's about taking our deepest values, the things we believe in as a society, and baking them right into the code of our digital future. It's about building a system that is a true expression of European democracy, where power is shared and every individual matters. Which leaves us with one last really important question to think about. If Europe is going to build its own tech giant, one that shatters the old paradigm, what will be its defining feature? Will it just be about having better technology? Or will its key element be something totally new, a fundamental respect for you, the user, as an owner and a partner, not just a product to be sold?